Hey, my friend, thank you for coming back to our show. This is Tony Woodall with Motivated Action Group and also the author of 9 Steps to Successful Goal Achievement. And that's what we're going to be talking today about. That's what we're going to be talking about today is the 9 steps to successful goal achievement. But we're going to concentrate today on only one of those steps. We're going through the 9 steps that I had spoken about in one of my previous videos. If you watch that, you'll get an idea of what those 9 steps are. I do encourage you to purchase the book 9 Steps to Successful Goal Achievement on Amazon. I will have a link to that book in the description. But what I would also like to recommend before we get started is that you subscribe to the channel here so that you can get notifications by ringing the bell. Ring my bell, ring my bell. Okay, I can't sing. That's not my goal. But I do want you to ring the bell so that you can get notifications when I post new videos on the channel. So we want to talk to you today about the 3rd step of the 9 steps to successful goal achievement. And that step is set a deadline. So I'm going to share my screen. So we're going to talk about my program, Goal Getting, Don't Just Set Them, Get Them. And in that program, we talk about step 3, set a deadline. And hold on, where am I at here? Oops. And I am going to share my screen here. And today we're going to talk about my program, Goal Getting, Don't Just Set Them, Get Them. And step 3, set a deadline. Setting a deadline is very important when you're setting goals. Again, we talk about this in 9 steps to successful goal achievement, and we want to talk about how you set a deadline, or what kind of deadline do you need to set. You need to set a deadline. A goal is a dream with a deadline, and without a deadline, it is just that. It's just a dream, because without a deadline, there's no pressure. There's no way that you want to do that. Now, I have heard recently people say, you don't really need to have a deadline. You just need to have a goal. Don't put a time frame on it. The world or the universe will bring you what you need when it's ready for you to have it. And that's true. You know, you want to get your goals out into the universe. You want to have an accountability partner. We'll talk more about that later. But you also want to, you know, put it out into the universe. You want to tell the universe that you want to achieve this goal. As part of your setting these goals, you're going to be very specific and write that down. But I do, and you know, Napoleon Hill, who we spoke with or about in one of the previous videos, who wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, spoke with many people, and they say clearly define written goals, and that you need to have a deadline in your goal setting. So having a deadline is important because, you know, honestly, if our mind doesn't have some sort of sense of urgency, you know, we have a lot of limiting beliefs, which we'll talk about in subsequent videos. I'll talk about limiting beliefs in the future. What you want to do is, you know, get over that limiting belief, or, you know, that procrastination, which is caused by limiting beliefs. And you want to be able to have that urgency. And if you don't have that sense of urgency, my feeling is a lot of times most of us will procrastinate, or we won't put the effort that we need in the right time frame. So it's important to have a deadline, in my opinion, in studies also. So let's talk about setting a deadline. Well, I'm going to share another screen here. When I spoke earlier about the first step, write it down, and being specific, I talked about in my program, I used my program, Goal Getting, Don't Just Set Them, Get Them, and the 3 pillars of goal getting success, the what, the why, and the how, when I wanted to lose weight. So when I set the what, this is what I wanted to achieve. And you want to write this down. You also see that I'm speaking about this. My goal was in 2018, I wanted to lose weight to a specific weight level. I wanted to lose weight to a specific weight. I had been at 300 pounds for about 30 years, very unhealthy weight for somebody my size. So I had made the decision in December of 2017 that I was going to achieve my weight loss goal down to 185 pounds. So when I wrote my goal, I wrote specifically, when I wake up on December 31st of 2018 and walk into my bathroom, I will step on the scale and see 185 pounds, and I will pump my fists and shout, woohoo, new year, new year, new year, new you. I will be so excited that I achieved this goal, and I will celebrate by buying myself a new custom-made Hickey Freeman suit. Again, I wrote this very specifically, and my deadline was December 31st, 2018. That gave me an entire year to do this because I knew that it would take me a lot longer. I couldn't set a time frame or deadline for 3 months because I knew, based on the amount of work that I had in my career, that I could only dedicate a certain amount of time to exercise, and I could always eat properly, but I knew that to exercise, to burn the calories, I had to work a certain amount of hours to be able to burn the calories that I needed to meet my goal, which I had set up for December 31st. That gave me enough time to do that. Well, in that deadline, I knew that I had a certain period that I had to achieve this in, and I kept that in front of me in my goal here to keep that top of mind, that date. Well, what I ended up doing is going to the gym more often, working out harder, and burning more calories. And I also paid more attention to what I was eating because I knew I had a specific time frame that I needed to meet that. Now, I also wrote my goal as specific as possible so that I could see myself, and I visualized myself going in every day, getting on that scale and seeing that 185 pounds on the scale. I imagined and visualized myself of being 185 pounds. That we'll talk about later in the visualization and how to change your mindset and your mind and limiting beliefs. But this is important that you set the deadline so that you have a time frame that you must achieve this by, to give your mind that emphasis on what I want to do. So December 31st, 2018 was my deadline to reach this goal. Now, honestly, this is not the first time I have set this goal. I have set it the same time before. Every year, December 31st was the time frame. But based on my own program and starting to realize that I needed to not only be specific and write my goals down and be realistic, that's why I set a longer time frame. I needed to have that deadline, and I also needed to see myself as a 185-pound person, and that's what I put in here, so that as I saw this and read this every day, I would then visualize and see myself that. And that's also one of the big keys of goal-getting success, is that visualization, one of the steps, step number 7, that we'll cover later. But set a goal with a deadline to make it real and to your mind. So this is what we're going to talk about here. So as we get back to the presentation, the 9 steps to successful goal achievement. If you checked my video, write it down, was number 1. Number 2 is be realistic. You can check out those videos. And then today we're talking about set a deadline. Put a deadline on your goal. It could be a 5-year goal. It could be a 3-year goal. It could be 1-year goal. And in those steps, when you start setting up your action plan, you're going to start realizing that you may have short-term goals that you need to accomplish as you go through there. And you really do want to set short-term goals in there so that you have that, but you'll define what your action plan is so that you can see what you need to do to achieve those goals. And that's what we'll be talking about in the video number 4 of how do I set goals and achieve them, talking about step number 4, set an action plan in the future. So don't forget to subscribe and ring my bell, and I'm not going to sing it today or this time, but go ring the bell and follow us and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.